joining me again at Urban Flower Collective. My name's Lisa, I'm your host here. I hope you enjoy this next video. It's one from the archives, so I just thought I'd do a little introduction here. If you need an equipment list and a step-by-step instruction guide and a template for the petals, then please click on the show notes and download the PDF, and all the information's in there for you. Remember to hit the subscribe button and you'll be first to see all the new material. And if you need any help with this flower or any of the other flowers, then please come and join us at Urban Flower Collective. We'd love to see you there. You can ask any questions about anything to do with sugar flowers over there. It's a really nice, friendly little group. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I look forward to seeing the flowers that you make from it. Please tag me in, hashtag Urban Flower Collective if you make any, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Right, welcome back. So now I'm going to show you how to make a succulent using a Ruscus cutter. So this is how I say you can adapt any kind of cutters that you've got in your toolkit to make these succulents. So let's get started. It's pretty much the same technique. I'll just show you how I put it together, and then you can adapt this to anything that you've got lying around at home. Any sets that I've got 4 or 5, maybe 6 cutters in them, you can adapt to do a succulent. So again, I'm using ultrafine paste. I've already coloured it. Again, I've coloured it just a very light base colour. I've used gooseberry, Pro Gel gooseberry for this. So I've pre-prepared that bit, and I'm just going to give it a little stretch and condition it a little bit before I start rolling it out. And again, we're just going to use a rolling pin here. We're not going to use the pasta machine because we want these succulent leaves to look quite juicy. You know, we need them to be quite thick. So a good 1mm to 2mm thick. An air bubble in there. If you get an air bubble in your paste, just prick it with a fine wire. That should get rid of it. We want to be able to get our wires in, and we want it to have some substance. So you can see how thick I've rolled that. Probably between 1 and 2mm. And I'll just cut one of each and show you how I make these up. So here I've got a 6 Ruscus set. I'll start off with the smallest first, and I'm just going to pop them in a petal pad. If you don't have one of these, you know, you can use a polythene pocket. Just cut the sides off, a document wallet, and that will do equally nice. And just going to pop that out. So I'm going to do, for this Ruscus, I'm going to do 3 of the smallest size, or for this succulent, sorry, not a Ruscus. I'm then going to do 5 of the second size. I may or may not use all of these, but you know, I'd rather be looking at leaves than having to remake a few. So I've got 3 of the first, 5 of the second. Then I'm going to go 6 of the third size. Six of the fourth size. And then I'm going to go 8 of the 5th size. I'm not going to use the 6th one because I don't want it that big. However, you can go as big as you like. You might need more petals on the outer layers if you go big. So I'm just going to use the 5 different cutters for this one. So I've got these in a petal protector, as you can see. If you don't have a petal protector, just a polythene pocket will do equally well. But what I'm going to do is just take a small ball tool, and I'm going to just very finely, hardly touching this small one because I don't want it to change shape at all, but I'm just going to round off the edges because I don't want those sharp, just cut edges on this plant. I want it to look you know, nice and smooth and rounded like a lot of the succulent leaves are. So I'm just very gently going round the edges, not touching the bulk, not touching the middle of it, but just rounding off these edges. If you do this out of the plastic, the ball tool sometimes sticks to it because it's quite a chunkier a chunkier paste than what you'd normally use for flower paste, and we don't want it frilly. So hopefully you can see I've just sort of smoothed down those edges very gently, but a bit like a surfboard shape, you know, a bit, yeah, it's just smoothed off to the sides. So that's all I'm going to do there. Next, we're going to take our wire, and again, I'm going to use 24 gauge wire, just because they're quite a chunky petal. So I'm using 24 gauge wire, and I'm going to cut that down to size. Now the bigger petals do need a longer wire in them, obviously, but the smaller ones are so tiny they don't need such a big wire in there. So I'm going to cut that into 4 for the larger ones, and I've got a smaller one here. So first of all, taking the smallest petal, I'm going to dip it in some egg white, dip this wire in some egg white again, and again holding it between my finger and thumb, as you can see here. I'm just going to feed this wire in. So I've dipped it in egg white to use as glue. If you're vegan, or if you're making a cake for someone who can't have eggs, then edible glue or paste will be fine. So I'll just pop that there, and I'm going to do the same for each size. Obviously you do your small ones first, then your next size and your next size, and so on, but just for quickness and for demonstration I'm going to do this. So yeah, just hold on to it, but you can't see that wire in there at all. Again, third size, dip in your edible glue or your egg white and just feed it gently into the Now I've just got some dimple foam here, so just some normal dimple sponge. It's a bit softer and spongier than a petal pad, and that's what I want for these leaves. So I'm going to pop one on. I'm going to take my Dresden tool, and using the pointy end of the Dresden tool for this tiny one, I'm just going to put a vein down the middle there, like that. Do the same for all of them. So just a vein down the middle. Then next, you should have a few different size ball tools. For the smaller one, I'm going to go for a pretty tiny ball tool, and then I'm going to go for maybe the next size up for the larger petals. And all I'm going to do is pull down there just to curl the end up. Then you can use a silicone mat, you can use a sweet paper, you know, we've used the toffee containers before, just something round because we want to hold that shape. So I'm going to pop that just in this silicone. You can use a cake pop tin, you know, any kind of tin that you've got lying around your house, or you can buy proper petal formers. But we just want to get this end, we want to hold that curved shape on the end that you can see there. So with these you can fit a few in one hole, as like such. Lots of the little ones will fit in together. You can get 3 or 4 of those tiny ones in there just to hold its shape until it dries off. So I'm going to let these dry. I'm going to finish cutting the rest out. I'm going to pop them all in the formers. I'm going to let them dry, and then I'll come back and show you how we dust them up. But now you can see I've got all of my petals dried and formed nicely. I'm going to start to dust them up. So for this one, I'm going to keep it fairly light to go with the other succulents we've already done. I'm going to use edible art colour called Eucalyptus, which is a nice sort of grey-blue colour. And then I'm going to do the tips with a really more vibrant pink than the aubergine. It's again from Edible Art, and it's called Bubblegum. So they're the colours I'm going to use today. You can go as wild as you want. This is just to tone in with the other succulents I've already done. So let's get going. So I'm just gonna, this is, you can see it's a really nice sort of bluey grey dusty colour, which is nice. And I took inspiration just again looking at succulents on the internet and having a little look around. So we've got this nice pale base colour, but this will just give our succulents a nice dusty kind of grey feel. So I'm just going to dust the whole front and back up, this nice colour. As with all petals, you know, I think dusting them really brings them to life. You don't need to, you could just leave them this colour if you want, but I think they look a little bit more flat. And I just think having a bit of dust and a bit of shade on here brings these to life a little bit more, makes them look a little more realistic. Even though this is quite a stylised succulent because it's made with a Ruscus cutter, it's not made with a proper succulent cutter. So that's our eucalyptus done. Oops. So I'm just going to take, again, another makeup brush. This is a more, I don't know, maybe for eyeliner or whatever. And I'm going to take, you can see how deep pink this is, a really nice vibrant pink. I'm going to take this and put this just on the tip. I'm not going to go right around the edge like I did with the last ones. I'm just going to put it on the tips of these leaves, just like that. It looks quite pretty. Let's go for the next one. And as I say, the succulents, you know, can be all different colours, and depending on where you are in the world, there will be different colours. The warmer the climate, the more vibrant the colours too. So take your inspiration from photographs, from Instagram posts, from beautiful bouquets. There's stuff everywhere, and that's the beauty of these days. You know, we don't need to buy books on flowers. We can find lots and lots of inspiration and information about plants and flowers on the internet, which is great. So that's shown you on all of them. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'll continue, I'll do all the rest of these petals, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to wire it up and tape it up and get the final effect. Now you can see I've got all of my petals dusted up, they're all wired up, and they're all ready to start to tape now. So let's get cracking with that. What I'm going to use today is just half width florist tape, which is green. If you don't have half width and you only have full width, just take a pair of scissors and cut that in half along, like so, and that's fine. It's going to be quite a bulky plant again. Now either using your fingers, you can bend this back. I like to just use my needle nose pliers just to bend these back a little. I find it easier, but if you don't have any of these, you know, just bend them back with your fingers. Hold them at the base. If you do, bend back with your fingers, and so you don't snap the leaf. So I'm going to take the first three and I'm going to just tape these together. We can always manipulate where we want them once we've got the tape on. So if you haven't used florist tape before, just give it a stretch, good pull just to get the glue going. It's impregnated with glue and it sticks on itself, and we'll just start to tape up the length of these wires. So I'm going to these like that. Actually, I'm going to push them in a little bit more. I've pulled them out too far. I want them to look like they're hugging each other, these three. So you can see how that's done. Then I'm going to take the next ones, and again I'm just going to do a slight bend on the wire again. If you find these are twirling around, you can tape up the wire individually. It is a bit more time consuming, but you can tape each one up, and that will just give you a little bit more, it'll just make it stick easier basically, but it'll make it stop swiveling around so much. So just going for the next ones. So I had 3 of the first, and we've got 5 of this second size. So I'm just going to put them on where I can see there's a gap. Just try and space them out as evenly as you can. Doesn't matter, we can if they do slip around a little bit, don't worry, because we can manipulate these as we go. We're on 24 wire, just because they're a bit chunkier, but actually you can manipulate it a little bit better as well. So that's our 3rd row on. It's looking pretty nice. Open those last ones out a little bit, just bend them back a little bit more. And so I think that looks pretty good, don't you? That's another succulent done, a bit different, not made with a proper succulent cutter, made with a Ruscus cutter that you've probably all got in your toolkits, but it looks really pretty, it looks a little bit different, and that'll look really nice in an arrangement or in with other flowers or in just an arrangement of succulents. So go and have a go, have some fun with it and use some different colours, make it as vibrant as you want, and let me see what you've done. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a go at this and you've enjoyed this tutorial.